Okay, this is Steve.
Hey, this is Colin from Clear.
And we have a new prototype for our ClearPhone. And I want to show you some of the security features. So, a lot of us have kids, and so we worry about what they are searching for these days. Many will type that up, sex.com. Where do you think that will go, Colin?
I would be afraid to push that go button if I were you, Steve.
Yeah, I would too.
Not if you're protected by ClearPhone and ClearGM.
Yeah, there we go. So ClearGM comes built into ClearPhone or the operating system. Can you show me behind the scenes what just happened?
Sure. Yeah, so when you buy a ClearPhone, you'll also get a login to our ClearGM Gateway.management account. So I'm going to open up my laptop and show you the interface portal here. So I have tons and tons of control over all my different devices for me and my family. I have all my different rules and rule sets. For example, I can choose from very restrictive policies like allow only the good, which will only permit the top 10,000 most family-friendly sites through. I can choose to have completely unfiltered access, which will allow any site, and I can go anywhere in between. This auto whitelisting feature is really cool because what it does is it lets our AI kind of decide what's potentially good or not, and if it blocks the site, you can choose to unblock it. But the idea is you have total control, so you can see anything you want to see, or you can block anything you don't want to see.
So this could be any site that the parent has decided to block, is that right?
Yeah, and I've just manually put this in. It's not a bad site, but this is just to give people an example. So if you have a site that you don't want yourself seeing or you don't want your kids seeing, you can put it right in here. Now, most bad sites are actually automatically already picked up anyway by the AI filter, but if you want to override something, you can. And you can go the other direction. You can completely allow something. Here's a whitelist where you can put anything you want in here that will automatically be allowed. And then in the middle is this automatic whitelisting that's run by our artificial intelligence in the cloud that uses machine learning to evaluate each domain you're trying to go to. Hey, Steve, so why don't you go to a popular news site and let's talk more about ads and trackers.
Okay, so I go to a news site and it comes up, but what does it block within this site? I don't see any ads. I don't see any paid content or sponsor content. All I see is stories. So tell me what's going on in the back end here.
Sure. So the really amazing thing about ClearPhone together with ClearGM and Gateway.management is that, to get a little technical here, we're running our own DNS resolver. So every time the phone makes any request out to the internet, that's from any app, any your web browser, no matter if you're on Wi-Fi or cellular, we've got this tight integration with ClearOS Mobile and the ClearPhone hardware. So every single internet request gets run through this unique Gateway.management and ClearGM filter set. It lets us do a lot of really cool things. We can be an undetectable ad blocker, so you notice no ads are popping up at all. You'll also notice the site tends to load faster because you're not loading ads, but you're also not loading all of the trackers. So let's switch back over to our management console and let's show you all the trackers that got blocked. So we're going to go find CNN. Did you go to CNN?
CNN.com, yeah.
We're going to go find CNN.com and we're going to view all the trackers that have been blocked.
So this is just in one quick visit, right?
One quick visit to CNN.com.
Wow.
When your phone requested that CNN.com load, it evaluated not only the content that was on CNN.com, but all of the content that was linked to it, including all the requests from all these ad servers, tracking servers that dump ads and trackers right into CNN.com. So you can see there's about 40 or 50 different trackers. Some are perfectly safe, some are run by Google, which are safe. But a lot are advertising servers. You see these are marked ads, adult, dangerous malware, Outbrain. These are those stupid you might like sections that look like news articles, but they're not, and you're typically 3 clicks away from a virus or spyware or porn. All of these are being blocked. So when you visit CNN.com, your phone's not picking up any of the trackers. You're not getting behaviorally profiled by any trackers. You're not getting cookies. You're not getting tracked by Facebook. You're not getting tracked by anyone else. You just see the content, no ads.
So why can't I do this with just software? Why does it have to be a new phone?
So it goes back to this service that we call gateway.management with ClearGM. And it's our own DNS-based system. And that's really the only way you can fully protect a device, no matter whether it's on Wi-Fi or whether it's on a cellular connection. And that lets every single request, it gets filtered through us and gets resolved through us. And it blocks the request before it ever makes it out to the internet. So here's a really good example. Let's say you opened an email on your phone that had a phishing hack attempt. And that link in your email looked like a banking link, it looked like it was your bank, but you click on it, it's actually a phishing site that tries to steal your banking info. Normally, that site would open, you might put in your username and password, and someone could steal your banking info. But with ClearGM, that request gets blocked before it ever even hits the public internet. So that phishing site just never loads. The virus or malware never makes it on your phone.
There are settings for adults and children, and a child searching on YouTube gets gets served separate YouTube videos than an adult does. Tell me how that works.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's switch back over to the dashboard and let me show you some of the rule sets. So I've got three default policies, or three policies set up. One's called auto whitelisting, one's called allow only the good, the other's called block the bad. If this allow only the good policy is set up on your child's phone, there's a couple of really interesting toggles. So we force safer search engines and we force YouTube strict filtering. You see I have different levels. I can turn it on or off, and I can also select moderate or strict. What that does is at the DNS level, so your phone doesn't need to know what it's doing at all. Your kid doesn't know what he needs to do, and you don't need to know what you're doing. You can't even override this. It forces any search requests or any YouTube requests to go through the safe search portion of Google search engine, thus giving a much safer set of search data that gets returned when you make a search.
And that works no matter where the phone is, right? So it could be at a friend's house or a sketchy Wi-Fi at a cafe. That in theory, a lot of these phones with just the software, you can work around that by going to a different Wi-Fi or sideloading apps. But because it's on the hardware, that won't work, and no matter where your child goes with his phone, it's always going to be on that safe mode.
Yeah, exactly. So there are other products that do some similar things depending on where you are. But if you buy a Wi-Fi router that has some security protection, that phone will be somewhat protected, but only when it's connected to Wi-Fi in your house. When you go to your neighbor's Wi-Fi, you lose all protections, or when you're running around town on a cellular connection, you lose all those connections, or you lose all that protection. Only ClearPhone is hooked up at the core level, so it's always protected no matter what Wi-Fi you're on, no matter what cellular network you're on.
So this is the only phone, ClearPhone, that is hooked up at the core level and cannot be worked around or hacked or sideloaded. It's the most safe and secure phone on the market, right?
Absolutely.
Cool.